Ladies and gentlemen, if there's one truth that will shape the course of your life, it's this: your limits are not set in stone. The barriers you face are not permanent, and they are not as strong as they seem. The impossible becomes possible when you decide to break through these self-imposed limits. Every breakthrough, every success story begins with the decision to push past the perceived boundaries of what you can achieve. In this life, the only real limits that exist are the ones you accept. If you want to achieve the impossible, you must first change the way you see the possibilities. Today, we are going to talk about how to break through these barriers, how to identify the obstacles standing in your way, and how to turn what seems unattainable into your new reality. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. Right now, you have the power to start pushing beyond the limits that hold you back. It's time to stop thinking small and start thinking big. It's time to break through to the next level of achievement. The first and most fundamental step in breaking through any barrier is recognizing that the majority of the limits we face are self-imposed. We tend to view the obstacles in our lives as being external or uncontrollable, whether it's a lack of resources, a tough environment, or the people around us. But in reality, the greatest barriers we face are often the ones we build ourselves with our own thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions. The limits that seem so imposing are often just mental constructs, limitations that exist only because we believe they do. They are not inherent to the situation, but rather a result of how we interpret our circumstance. The moment we recognize that these limitations are not factual but self-imposed, we take the first step in breaking free from them. When we set these limits for ourselves, they often stem from fear or past experience, fear of failure, fear of the unknown, and even fear of success can hold us back. It's important to understand that fear itself is not a barrier, but the way we react to it is what forms the limit. Fear might create hesitation, but it doesn't have the power to stop us unless we allow it to. In fact, when we understand that fear is a natural emotion, one that everyone experiences, we realize that it does not have the power to define our potential unless we give it that power. When we face fear head-on, instead of running from it, we start to see the true nature of our limitations, and in doing so, we can break them down. The limits we impose on ourselves are also often based on outdated beliefs and mindset. For example, we might tell ourselves that we're not good enough, not smart enough, or that success is for someone else, not for us. These limiting beliefs often come from our upbringing, cultural influences, or past experiences where we were told or shown that we couldn't achieve something. But these beliefs are not facts. They are merely stories we have adopted over time. The moment we challenge these beliefs and question their validity, we start to see that they are not rooted in truth. By reframing our beliefs and deciding that we can achieve what we desire, we remove the barriers these beliefs create. Another reason we impose limits on ourselves is the fear of judgment from others. We often limit ourselves based on what we think others will think of us. We worry about failing in front of others, making mistakes, or appearing weak, which can lead us to not take risks or pursue opportunities. This fear of judgment can be paralyzing, keeping us stuck in a place where we're not able to grow or fully express our potential. But what we must realize is that other people's opinions of us are often more about their own fears, limitations, and projections, and they have nothing to do with our true ability. The more we focus on their views, the more we bind ourselves to their expectations instead of focusing on our own potential. In addition to external perceptions, we also limit ourselves by focusing on what we believe we can't control. We often blame external factors like our environment, circumstances, or lack of resources for our inability to achieve our goals. While these factors can certainly present challenges, it's important to recognize that we always have control over how we respond to them. True empowerment comes from shifting our mindset from seeing obstacles as immovable roadblocks to seeing them as opportunities for creative problem solving. By focusing on what we can control, the choices we make, the actions we take, and our attitudes toward challenges, we break down the barriers of limitation. One of the most subtle yet powerful forms of self-imposed limits comes from our own comfort zone. We all have a natural tendency to stick with what feels familiar and safe, even when it holds us back from reaching our true potential. Our comfort zones may not be ideal, but they are comfortable, and that feeling of security can keep us from pushing beyond the boundaries we've set for ourselves. But growth happens outside of the comfort zone. The moment we step out of that safe, predictable space, we start to grow, learn, and achieve things we never thought possible. The comfort zone is the place where limits are created, but the edge of the comfort zone is where the real potential begins. A significant part of breaking through self-imposed limits involves developing a new perspective on failure and success. So many times we limit ourselves because we fear failure. We see failure as something to be avoided at all costs. But this view is counterproductive. Failure is not a permanent state, it's an event that teaches us valuable lessons. When we see failure as a stepping stone to success, rather than a sign of inadequacy, it loses its power to hold us back. The successful people we admire didn't avoid failure. They embraced it, learned from it, and used it as a launching pad to go further than they ever thought possible. The more we redefine failure as feedback and use it to adjust our actions, the less power self-imposed limits have over us. Breaking through self-imposed limits also requires recognizing and embracing the unknown. The fear of uncertainty often keeps us from taking the necessary steps toward growth. We want everything to be predictable and under control, but life doesn't work that way. The unknown holds the potential for discovery, learning, and transformation. When we stop fearing what we cannot control, we start to see the vast opportunities that exist in every moment of uncertainty. Embracing the unknown means embracing the potential for greatness. The more we venture into new experiences, take on new challenges, and explore new possibilities, the more we dismantle the false limits we've set for ourselves. The key to breaking through barriers and achieving the impossible lies in the way we think, specifically in how we approach growth and success. Most of us operate from a mindset that is either fixed or growth-oriented, and the difference between the two is profound. A fixed mindset believes that your abilities, intelligence, and talents are static, that you are born with a set of abilities that determine your future success. People with a fixed mindset see challenges and failures as evidence of their limitation. When things don't go as planned, they give up, thinking that they simply aren't good enough. On the other hand, a growth mindset views abilities as something that can be developed and improved over time through effort, learning, and perseverance. This is the mindset that will allow you to break through barriers, overcome obstacles, and ultimately achieve what you once thought was impossible. The first step in shifting from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset is to recognize that your potential is not limited by your current skills or abilities. You are not confined to where you are now. What truly matters is your willingness to learn, adapt, and grow. No matter what challenge you face, you have the ability to improve through consistent effort and a commitment to learning. Every time you engage in something new, take on a challenge, or make a mistake, you are building the foundation for future success. The growth mindset teaches us that we can always improve, no matter where we start from. This opens up an entirely new realm of possibility that would otherwise remain locked behind the barrier of self-doubt and limiting beliefs. Another critical shift in mindset is embracing challenge. When you have a fixed mindset, challenges are something to avoid because they highlight your weaknesses. When things get tough, those with a fixed mindset may think they are incapable of success and may quit. But with a growth mindset, challenges are seen as opportunities to learn and grow. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to develop new skills, increase your knowledge, and expand your capabilities. And instead of shying away from difficult situations, you start to seek them out because you know that they are the very things that push you to become better. A growth mindset redefines challenges not as obstacles but as stepping stones to your greater success. Failure is another area where a fixed mindset and a growth mindset diverge. People with a fixed mindset often fear failure and view it as a reflection of their inherent shortcomings. They might think that if they fail, it means they aren't talented enough or capable enough to succeed in the first place. This fear can paralyze them, preventing them from taking any risks or moving forward. In contrast, a growth mindset sees failure as an essential part of the learning process. Every failure is an opportunity to gather valuable feedback, adjust your strategy, and try again with more insight. Instead of letting failure define you, you start to understand that it's simply a temporary setback on the path to success. Embracing failure as a learning tool allows you to break down the barriers of fear and limitation that hold many people back. One of the most powerful aspects of a growth mindset is its ability to embrace feedback. In a fixed mindset, feedback is often viewed as criticism, something to be avoided because it threatens the belief in one's abilities. People may resist constructive criticism because they see it as a personal attack or a confirmation of their perceived inadequacy. But in a growth mindset, feedback is a vital tool for improvement. When someone offers constructive feedback, you understand that it's an opportunity to identify areas of improvement and refine your skill. Those with a growth mindset actively seek out feedback, knowing that it will help them become better and more capable over time. By being open to feedback, you are opening yourself to continuous growth and progress, which is key to achieving greatness. A growth mindset also nurtures resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity and keep going even when things get tough. When you operate from a fixed mindset, setbacks can feel like insurmountable obstacles that stop you in your tracks. The idea of persevering through adversity doesn't make sense because you feel like your success is out of your control. However, with a growth mindset, you understand that setbacks are a normal part of the process. Resilience is about seeing obstacles as temporary and solvable. Instead of giving up, you double down, adapt, and find new ways to move forward. The ability to bounce back after challenges is essential to breaking through barriers and achieving what once seemed impossible. In addition to resilience, a growth mindset encourages continuous improvement. Those with a fixed mindset often feel that once they reach a certain level of competence, there is no need for further effort. They may rest on their laurels, believing that they have already achieved enough. However, individuals with a growth mindset understand that there is always room to improve, always something new to learn. This mindset fosters a passion for personal development and a drive to push yourself beyond your comfort zone. The pursuit of excellence is never a destination but a continuous journey. The more you focus on improvement rather than perfection, the more empowered you will be to break through your personal limitations and achieve extraordinary success. Finally, adopting a growth mindset leads to a sense of purpose and fulfillment. When you believe that your abilities are not fixed, you are empowered to take on challenges, learn new things, and pursue your passions without fear of failure. This mindset transforms the way you approach life's obstacles. Instead of seeing them as barriers to your dreams, you see them as opportunities to become a better version of yourself. Each step you take toward growth reinforces your belief in your potential and aligns you with your deeper sense of purpose. When you operate from a place of growth, you unlock the path to not just achieving success, but to experiencing lasting fulfillment along the way. Taking consistent action is one of the most powerful keys to achieving any goal. Success does not come from one-time efforts or isolated bursts of motivation. It is the result of consistent, disciplined actions over time. Many people are motivated by their dreams and desires, but they struggle when it comes to taking the consistent, focused steps necessary to turn those dreams into reality. It's easy to get caught up in excitement and inspiration at the beginning of a new project, but it's the ongoing effort that separates those who achieve greatness from those who fall short. The first step in taking consistent action is to break down your goals into smaller, manageable tasks. Big, lofty goals can often seem overwhelming, especially when viewed from the perspective of where you currently stand. It's easy to get discouraged when the finish line seems so far away. But when you break your goals down into smaller, actionable steps, you make them more achievable and less daunting. Each small task completed brings you closer to your ultimate objective, and this progress keeps you motivated to keep going. It's important to view every small step as part of the greater whole, knowing that each one is a vital building block toward your larger goal. Another key aspect of consistent action is staying committed even when motivation wanes. Motivation is often the spark that gets us started, but it's not a reliable long-term fuel. There will be days when you feel energized and ready to take on the world, and there will be other days when you feel like giving up. This is normal. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is the ability to keep pushing forward even when motivation is low. Discipline and consistency will carry you through the tough days when motivation fails. You don't have to feel inspired to act. You simply need to make the decision to do the work anyway. The ability to take consistent action is also tied to building habits that align with your goals. Habits are powerful because they automate actions and reduce the need for constant decision-making. By establishing daily habits that support your goals, you don't have to rely on motivation to take action. You simply do the work because it has become a natural part of your routine. For example, if your goal is to improve your health, developing the habit of exercising for 30 minutes every morning creates a consistent action that leads to long-term results. By forming habits that align with your values and objectives, you make the journey toward your goals easier and more sustainable. One of the most important elements of consistent action is creating a system for accountability. When you hold yourself accountable, you are more likely to stay on track and stay committed to your goals. Accountability can come in many forms, such as tracking your progress, sharing your goals with others, or setting up regular check-ins with a mentor or accountability partner. The act of being held accountable not only helps you stay focused, but also encourages you to take pride in your efforts. When you know that someone else is aware of your progress, you become more committed to taking action and following through on your commitment. Accountability can be a powerful motivator, especially when you are working toward big long-term goals. Taking consistent action also requires learning to overcome setbacks and obstacles along the way. The path to success is rarely a straight line. It's filled with bumps, twists, and turns. Challenges will arise, and obstacles will emerge that could easily derail your progress. But those who are truly committed to their goals don't let setbacks stop them. Instead of viewing obstacles as roadblocks, they see them as opportunities to learn and grow. With each setback, you gain valuable lessons that can inform your future actions. The ability to keep going, even in the face of adversity, is what makes the difference between success and failure. A crucial aspect of consistent action is maintaining a sense of urgency. While consistency is about showing up every day and doing the work, urgency is about understanding the importance of time and the need to take action now. Too often, people procrastinate because they believe they have all the time in the world, but time is one of our most limited resources. The more you procrastinate, the further away your goals seem to become. Developing a sense of urgency means understanding that every day matters, and every action you take today gets you one step closer to your goal. A sense of urgency pushes you to act with purpose, make decisions quickly, and prioritize the tasks that will move you forward. Lastly, consistent action requires maintaining a positive mindset and focusing on progress, not perfection. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that everything needs to be perfect in order to succeed. However, perfectionism can often paralyze you from taking action in the first place. It's important to recognize that progress, no matter how small, is what truly matters. Taking consistent action, even if the results aren't perfect every time, is what leads to continuous growth and improvement. Celebrate your progress, no matter how incremental, and keep moving forward. Consistency doesn't require perfection. It requires persistence, commitment, and the willingness to keep taking the next step even when you don't have all the answers. Failure is often seen as a negative outcome, something to avoid at all costs. Yet it is essential to recognize that failure is not the enemy of success, but an integral part of the journey toward greatness. Failure is not the end. It is simply a part of the process that helps us grow, learn, and improve. When we fail, we learn more about our limitations, our weaknesses, and most importantly, how to overcome them. By embracing failure instead of fearing it, we open ourselves to a world of possibilities and insights that would otherwise remain hidden. In fact, the most successful people throughout history have failed more times than they've succeeded, and it is precisely because of their failures that they achieved their greatest triumphs. The fear of failure is one of the greatest barriers that holds people back. We often fear failure because we see it as a reflection of our own inadequacy or incompetence. The thought of failing can be paralyzing, making us hesitant to try new things or take risks. But this mindset only limits our potential. Failure does not define us. It refines us. Each time we fail, we are given the opportunity to recalibrate, adjust our approach, and try again with new knowledge. When we accept failure as a natural and inevitable part of the journey, we reduce its power over us and increase our ability to keep moving forward despite setbacks. In fact, failure is one of the most powerful learning tools available to us. Every time we fail, we gain valuable feedback that we wouldn't have access to otherwise. We learn what doesn't work, what we can improve, and what needs to change. This feedback is an essential part of the learning process and helps us refine our strategies. When we shift our perspective on failure, we start to see it as a lesson rather than a defeat. Failure teaches us resilience, adaptability, and creativity, skills that are critical in overcoming barriers and achieving the impossible. The more we embrace failure, the more we learn, and the more capable we become in facing future challenges. It's important to recognize that failure is not permanent. Failure is simply a temporary setback, a momentary detour on the road to success. What matters most is how we respond to failure. Many people make the mistake of seeing failure as final, as if it's an unchangeable outcome. But in reality, every failure is a chance to try again, to improve, and to refine our approach. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how they respond to failure. When you keep moving forward, regardless of setbacks, you give yourself the best chance to break through the barriers that stand between you and your dreams. One of the reasons failure is so important in the process of personal growth is that it forces us out of our comfort zone. When things go wrong, we are forced to reevaluate our methods and rethink our strategies. This discomfort is precisely what pushes us to evolve and find better ways to approach challenges. The best innovations and breakthroughs happen when we are pushed beyond our limits, when we have no choice but to adapt. Without failure, we would never experience this essential process of adaptation and growth. It is the discomfort that comes with failure that drives us to unlock our full potential and develop the resilience needed to face the toughest challenges. The fear of failure can also cause us to avoid taking risks, but without risk, there is no reward. Great achievements often come from stepping into the unknown, trying something new, and risking failure. If you never take chances, you never give yourself the opportunity to experience extraordinary success. The most successful people in the world didn't get there by playing it safe. They took risks, and yes, they failed along the way. But each failure was a step toward success, a necessary part of the process. If you are unwilling to embrace failure and take calculated risks,
You are also unwilling to experience the rewards that come with overcoming those challenges. It's also important to understand that failure is not a reflection of your character or your abilities. Failure is simply an outcome of a specific action or decision, not a judgment on who you are as a person. Too often people internalize failure and believe it means they are not good enough or incapable of succeeding. But the truth is, failure is not about who you are, it's about what you do. Your ability to persevere through failure, to keep learning, and to continue pursuing your goals is what truly defines your character and your potential for success. The more we separate our identity from the failure itself, the more empowered we become to try again and move forward with confidence. Finally, we must recognize that failure can be a catalyst for greater success. Many of the greatest entrepreneurs, innovators, and leaders achieve their success after experiencing monumental failures. Each failure they encountered taught them something valuable that ultimately led them to their breakthrough. For example, Thomas Edison famously failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, but each failure brought him one step closer to success. The key is not to view failure as something to avoid, but as an opportunity to get closer to your goal. The more you embrace failure and use it as a stepping stone, the closer you get to your breakthrough moment.
Limiting beliefs are powerful forces that can prevent you from reaching your full potential. They are beliefs you hold about yourself, your abilities, and the world around you that restrict your growth and success. These beliefs often come from past experiences, societal conditioning, or negative feedback from others, and they shape the way we perceive our reality. Most people are unaware of the limiting beliefs they hold, and they often operate on autopilot, allowing these beliefs to control their actions and decisions without ever questioning them. The first step in overcoming limiting beliefs is becoming aware of them. By identifying these beliefs, you take away their power and begin to open yourself up to new possibilities. One of the most common limiting beliefs is the idea that success is only for certain people. This belief often stems from societal conditioning that glorifies the stories of successful individuals while leaving out the struggles, setbacks, and hard work that went into their achievement. Many people believe that in order to be successful, you must have a specific talent, background, or set of resources. This belief keeps people stuck in a cycle of self-doubt and comparison. However, the reality is that success is available to anyone who is willing to put in the effort, learn, and grow. Limiting the potential for success based on external factors ignores the most important factor, your mindset and your willingness to take action. Another common limiting belief is the fear of failure. Many people hold the belief that failure is something to be avoided at all costs, and that failure reflects their incompetence or lack of ability. This fear can cause individuals to freeze, procrastinate, or avoid taking risks altogether. The truth, however, is that failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. Every successful person has faced failure at some point in their journey. Failure is a learning experience that reveals the gaps in our knowledge, skills, and strategy. By seeing failure as a necessary part of the process, you can eliminate the fear that holds you back and start taking more risks that lead to greater success. Limiting beliefs can also manifest in self-doubt and a lack of confidence. Many people struggle with the belief that they are not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough to achieve their goals. This belief can stem from childhood experiences where individuals may have been criticized or made to feel inadequate. The belief that you are not enough often leads to a cycle of avoidance, procrastination, and self-sabotage. It is essential to recognize that self-worth is not tied to past failures or mistakes. Everyone has unique talents, strengths, and abilities that, when nurtured, can lead to extraordinary success. By focusing on your strengths and building self-confidence, you can break free from the grip of self-doubt and step into your true potential. One of the most powerful ways to overcome limiting beliefs is through positive affirmations and visualization. Affirmations are statements that you repeat to yourself that challenge and replace your negative, limiting beliefs with empowering thought. For example, instead of thinking, I'm not good enough, replace it with I have the skills and potential to achieve my goals. Visualization works in a similar way. By picturing yourself successfully achieving your goals and living your dreams, you train your mind to accept that success is possible for you. The more you repeat these positive affirmations and visualizations, the more your subconscious mind begins to accept them as truth. This process rewires your thought patterns, making it easier to overcome limiting beliefs and take action toward your goals. Another powerful strategy for overcoming limiting beliefs is surrounding yourself with positive influences. The people you spend time with greatly impact your mindset. If you are constantly around individuals who reinforce your limiting beliefs or hold negative views about success, it can be difficult to break free from those patterns. Surrounding yourself with people who encourage and believe in your potential can have a transformative effect on your mindset. Seek out mentors, friends, or communities who support your growth and challenge your limiting beliefs. Positive influences help you see the possibilities, push past your doubts, and encourage you to take action toward your goal. It's also important to take consistent, small steps toward your goals in order to build evidence that challenges your limiting beliefs. For example, if you have the belief that you are not capable of succeeding in a particular area, start by taking small actions that demonstrate your ability. Each small success, no matter how minor it may seem, builds confidence and proves that your limiting beliefs are not true. When you take action despite your fears or doubts, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. Over time, this accumulation of small successes helps to dismantle the limiting beliefs that once held you back and replaces them with a new belief system centered around possibility and growth. Lastly, overcoming limiting beliefs requires practicing self-compassion and patience. It's easy to become frustrated when things don't change quickly, especially when you've held limiting beliefs for a long time. But changing deeply ingrained beliefs takes time, and there will be setbacks along the way. It's important to be kind to yourself throughout the process and understand that transformation is not instantaneous. Each time you catch yourself falling back into old thought patterns, acknowledge it without judgment and gently refocus on your new empowering belief. Overcoming limiting beliefs is a process that requires persistence, self-compassion, and a willingness to keep moving forward, even when it feels difficult. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and perseverance. This mindset is the cornerstone of success because it embraces the idea that you can improve, evolve, and adapt, regardless of where you start. Unlike a fixed mindset, which believes that talents and abilities are innate and unchangeable, a growth mindset focuses on the idea that you can always improve through hard work and continuous learning. The shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset can unlock your potential in ways that are both profound and transformative, allowing you to pursue goals with a sense of optimism and resilience. One of the most powerful aspects of a growth mindset is its ability to reshape the way you view challenges. People with a fixed mindset often shy away from difficult tasks or challenges, fearing that failure will expose their inadequacy. On the other hand, individuals with a growth mindset view challenges as opportunities for growth and learning. Instead of avoiding difficulties, they lean into them, understanding that overcoming obstacles will build their resilience and lead to improvement. The mindset shift is simple but profound. Challenges are not roadblocks. They are stepping stones to becoming better. When you embrace challenges, you are more likely to take on new projects, push past your comfort zone, and develop the skills necessary to achieve your long-term goal. The growth mindset also helps you to see failure not as a reflection of your ability, but as an opportunity to learn and improve. In a fixed mindset, failure can feel like a personal defeat, a sign that you are not good enough. But those with a growth mindset understand that failure is a natural part of the learning process. When you fail with a growth mindset, you don't see it as a setback, but as valuable feedback. You reflect on what went wrong, adjust your approach, and try again, armed with new insights and strategies. Each failure becomes a lesson in the process of growth, helping you to develop perseverance and an understanding of how to approach challenges in the future. In order to cultivate a growth mindset, it is crucial to embrace the concept of yet. The word yet has immense power because it reminds you that progress is ongoing and that skills and abilities are constantly evolving. For example, instead of saying, "I'm not good at this," say, "I'm not good at this yet." This simple change in language shifts the focus from inability to potential. When you add yet to your thoughts, you begin to recognize that success is not an instant outcome. It's a result of time, effort, and persistence. This shift helps to remove the pressure to be perfect right away and allows you to approach new skills or challenges with patience and confidence, knowing that you are constantly improving. Another key component of a growth mindset is the commitment to continuous learning. Those with a growth mindset are always seeking new knowledge, skills, and experiences. They understand that learning doesn't stop after formal education or after mastering a particular skill. In fact, continuous learning is the key to long-term success and personal development. Whether you are reading books, taking courses, attending workshops, or learning from others, staying committed to lifelong learning keeps your mind sharp, adaptable, and open to new possibilities. By prioritizing growth over perfection, you give yourself the freedom to experiment, try new things, and continuously evolve into a more capable and resourceful individual. A growth mindset also encourages the value of effort and practice. People with a fixed mindset often believe that talent alone will lead to success, while those with a growth mindset understand that effort, persistence, and hard work are the true drivers of achievement. The more effort you put into developing a skill, the better you will become at it. It's not about being naturally talented, it's about showing up every day and putting in the time to improve. Effort compounds over time, and the results are often exponential. Those who embrace a growth mindset don't give up when things get tough. They know that consistency and effort will eventually lead to mastery. In addition to effort, feedback becomes an invaluable tool for growth. People with a growth mindset actively seek out feedback because they see it as an essential part of their development. They don't take criticism personally, but instead view it as a chance to identify areas for improvement. Feedback helps you fine-tune your strategies, correct mistakes, and stay on the right path toward your goals. When you open yourself up to constructive feedback, you create a space for growth, allowing you to move beyond your limitations and evolve. The more you embrace feedback, the more equipped you become to handle challenges and succeed in your endeavors. Finally, developing a growth mindset involves celebrating progress and effort, not just results. In a world that often focuses on outcomes, it can be easy to overlook the importance of the journey itself. People with a growth mindset understand that progress is just as important as achieving the end goal. By celebrating the effort and the improvements you make along the way, you reinforce the belief that growth is ongoing and not just about the destination. This shift in focus can help you stay motivated and continue moving forward, even when the final result is still some distance away. When you value progress over perfection, you stay encouraged, inspired, and focused on the long-term growth that will ultimately lead to your success. Persistence is one of the most fundamental qualities of success. It's the ability to continue working toward your goals despite obstacles, setbacks, and challenges. Persistence is not about avoiding failure or difficulty. It's about having the resolve to keep going when things don't go as planned. Every successful individual, no matter their field, has encountered hardships, yet what sets them apart is their ability to press on, undeterred by the temporary nature of setback. In the face of adversity, persistence allows you to stay focused on the end goal, constantly reminding you that success is a result of continuous effort. The first aspect of persistence is the ability to stay committed to your goals, no matter how tough the journey becomes. When the road gets difficult, it can be tempting to quit and walk away from your dreams. However, when you persist, you realize that these challenges are part of the process and are often necessary for growth.
Persistence is built on the belief that the difficulties you face today are merely stepping stones toward achieving something greater. It requires you to have unwavering faith in your purpose and the confidence to keep moving forward, even when the progress seems slow or non-existent. Another key aspect of persistence is developing resilience, the ability to bounce back after encountering failure or disappointment. Failure is often seen as a negative outcome, but it is actually one of the most powerful teachers you can have. Every time you fail, you gain a deeper understanding of your weaknesses and areas for improvement. Instead of allowing failure to derail your efforts, persistence teaches you to rise from each setback with new wisdom and determination. Resilience is the ability to learn from your mistakes, adapt, and continue your pursuit of success with renewed focus and energy. The persistent individual is not afraid to fail because they know that each failure brings them one step closer to success. Persistence also requires the ability to stay focused on the long-term vision, even when short-term results are discouraging. Often the most difficult aspect of pursuing a goal is dealing with the lack of immediate results. We live in a world that values quick wins and instant gratification, but true success requires patience and the understanding that progress is sometimes slow and incremental. It's easy to get disheartened when you don't see the fruits of your labor right away, but persistence is about knowing that the little things you do every day will eventually lead to big results. Staying committed to the process, even when you don't see immediate outcomes, is a hallmark of true persistence. One of the most powerful tools in developing persistence is setting small, achievable milestones along the way. When working toward a big goal, it can be easy to become overwhelmed by the enormity of the task. Breaking the goal into smaller, manageable steps helps to keep your momentum going. Each milestone achieved is a small victory that reinforces your commitment to the overall goal. These incremental wins not only make the journey feel more attainable, but also provide a sense of accomplishment and motivation to continue. Persistence thrives on these small successes that serve as reminders of the progress you're making, even when the ultimate goal feels distant. Persistence also requires a level of self-discipline to stay consistent, even when distractions and temptations arise. Life is full of distractions, other opportunities, responsibilities, and even moments of doubt about the path you're taking. However, those who embrace persistence understand the importance of staying focused on their priorities and not getting sidetracked by the noise. Discipline is key to maintaining your commitment to your goals, and the persistent individual knows that every day spent pursuing their dreams, even if it's just a small step forward, is a day closer to success. Self-discipline keeps you on track and reinforces the mindset that progress is made by consistently showing up, no matter the challenges that arise. A critical element of persistence is the ability to maintain a positive attitude, even in the face of setbacks. It's easy to become frustrated or discouraged when things don't go as planned, but a persistent person knows how to stay positive and use optimism as fuel. When faced with difficulties, it's important to focus on what you can control and take proactive steps to improve the situation. Rather than dwelling on the negatives, persistence requires you to maintain a mindset of possibility and growth. A positive attitude keeps you motivated, energizes your efforts, and helps you see opportunities in situations that may otherwise seem discouraging. Finally, persistence is about taking action every day, no matter how small. One of the most significant misconceptions about success is that it requires monumental leaps forward every day. In reality, success is made up of countless small actions taken consistently over time. Even on days when you don't feel like it, persistence involves making the choice to take one small step toward your goal. Whether it's sending one email, reading a few pages of a book, or working on a project for just 10 minutes, these small actions compound over time. The key to persistence is understanding that every little bit counts, and over time these small, seemingly insignificant actions will lead to big results. Mastering time management is one of the most important skills you can develop to unlock your full potential and achieve success. Time is the most valuable resource we have, and once it's gone, we can never get it back. Learning how to manage your time effectively is not about squeezing more tasks into your day, but about making more intentional and strategic decisions on how you allocate your time. Good time management helps you maximize your productivity, reduce stress, and ultimately create more time for the things that matter most to you. The first step in mastering time management is understanding the value of your time and how much you're really able to accomplish in a given period. One of the first practices of effective time management is setting clear, actionable goals. Without clear goals, it's easy to waste time and energy on activities that don't contribute to your long-term vision. Goals give you direction, purpose, and a roadmap to follow. When you set clear goals, you can break them down into smaller, more manageable tasks, which makes it easier to see what needs to be done and when. A goal without a plan is just a wish, so it's essential to create a detailed action plan for how you'll achieve your objective. By breaking your goals into smaller chunks, you take the overwhelming nature out of big aspirations and make them feel achievable, even in the short term. Once your goals are clear, it's essential to prioritize your tasks effectively. Not all tasks are equally important, and some can be distractions that take away from your true priorities. By learning how to prioritize, you ensure that you are focusing your energy on the things that move you closer to your goal. One popular method of prioritizing tasks is the Eisenhower matrix, which helps you sort tasks into 4 categories: urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and neither urgent nor important. This system helps you decide which tasks deserve your attention right now and which ones can be postponed, delegated, or eliminated altogether. Prioritization allows you to allocate your time where it will make the most impact. Effective time management also involves planning your day in advance. Taking a few minutes each night to plan your next day can make a world of difference. When you have a clear plan, you avoid wasting time figuring out what to do next. A good plan includes the tasks you need to accomplish, as well as time blocks for each task. This helps you stay organized and focused, ensuring that you make progress on the things that matter most. Planning your day also gives you the opportunity to include important activities that nurture your well-being, such as exercise, time with loved ones, or relaxation, which are often neglected without a structured plan. Another important aspect of time management is learning how to say no. Time is limited, and if you say yes to everything, you risk spreading yourself too thin and failing to focus on what's truly important. Learning to say no is a powerful skill that allows you to protect your time and energy. It's about being selective in the commitments you make and aligning your choices with your goals. By saying no to distractions or less important opportunities, you create more space for activities that align with your priorities and long-term vision. Saying no doesn't mean you're being selfish. It means you're being intentional about where you invest your time and resources. In addition to learning to say no, it's essential to minimize distractions in order to stay focused on your task. In today's world, distractions are everywhere, from social media to constant notifications. Distractions not only waste time but also take away from your ability to concentrate and do your best work. One way to minimize distractions is to create a dedicated workspace, free from interruption. Set boundaries for yourself and others, such as specific hours for deep work, or setting your phone on Do Not Disturb during important tasks. By reducing distractions, you allow yourself to immerse fully in your work and complete tasks more efficiently and with better quality. Another key aspect of mastering time management is delegation. Not every task needs to be done by you, and recognizing when to delegate tasks is a crucial part of managing your time effectively. Delegation frees you up to focus on higher priority tasks that require your unique skills and expertise. By trusting others with tasks, you not only save time but also empower those around you to grow and contribute. Delegating doesn't mean passing off responsibility but strategically handing off tasks that don't require your direct involvement, allowing you to focus on your most impactful work. Finally, it's important to regularly review and adjust your time management strategy. Time management is not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's a skill that needs to be adapted to your individual needs, circumstances, and goals. What works for you today may not work for you tomorrow, so it's essential to regularly assess how you're spending your time. If you notice that certain tasks are consistently taking longer than expected, or that you're not making progress on your goals, it's time to make adjustments. Taking time to review your schedule, adjust priorities, and fine-tune your strategies ensures that you're always moving forward in the most effective way possible. To conclude, mastering time management is not about rigidly controlling every minute of your day, but about creating a system that aligns with your goals, values, and priorities. By planning effectively, prioritizing with purpose, minimizing distractions, and continually adjusting your approach, you take full control of your most valuable resource, time. The more you practice time management, the more you empower yourself to achieve extraordinary things. Remember, time is not just something to be spent, it is something to be invested. Every decision you make about how you spend your time today is a step toward the future you desire. Take ownership of your time and you will unlock the doors to your full potential and unstoppable success.